Dumelang guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Reneilwe, also go by the name Reni. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you love my content, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up or leave a comment down below. Let's have a conversation. Let's be social people, but on a online scale, I guess. But anyways, I'm not gonna ramble. Okay, I'm gonna try not to ramble because I haven't done this in a while, but we're gonna get into it. So welcome to my Entryway Makeover series. Yay! Okay, this is where I insert the sound effect. There we go. Anyways, so we'll be getting into this entryway series. I don't have much of a huge entryway or an entryway. I just wanted an area where I could decorate so that when you walk in the house, it's more welcoming, it's more inviting, and it sets the tone of what to expect when you walk into my house. Although other areas of my house are not yet made over, but don't worry, it is still coming on my channel. All those rooms and everything are going to come on my channel. Already did my bathroom renovation, already did my bedroom makeover, and there's still more rooms to work on in this house, but we're pacing ourselves. So talking about our entryway makeover, expect me to show you how to DIY this geometric pattern behind me on the wall with no nails, just glue. Stay tuned for that. The DIY mirror, we're gonna DIY shelves. We're just gonna simply be all about DIY. So you don't want to miss it. You better subscribe. So starting with this week's video, we are going to simply get into first. Before I get into this week's video, I want to explain for those who are new to my channel what my style is. I'm all about that modern bohemian vibe with a touch of Scandinavian. I really love that clean look, the earthy tones that they bring to the room. I like how calm and serene you feel when you're in such a space. Hence why that is my kind of vibe and my style. And what I like is DIYing things. You get to customize things to your style, to your liking. So even if that's not your style, you can still find a way or an idea to come up with a certain DIY from one of my videos and just switch it up to make it yours. So now that I'm rambling on and on and on, let us just get into this week's video. This week we'll be showing you guys, or I'll be showing you guys, how I DIY this mirror. So obviously this mirror gives me bohemian vibes off the bat, and I love the earthy tones that it brings with the raffia and all the kind of stuff. So this mirror was inspired by Mr. Price Home's mirrors, and this mirror, sadly, they don't sell it anymore. It was ranging around 300 for the smaller mirror and 400 to 500 for the bigger set mirror. However, they don't have it on their site anymore. I'm not sure if they have it in store, because sometimes they might not have it on their website but have it in store. I'll be running costs at the end of each and every single DIY, because some of you guys like that, to know whether it's easier to just simply DIY it yourself, which is more affordable, or sometimes labor intensive and you'd rather buy the item. But anyways, let us get into this week's DIY.
So these are the items that you're going to need to complete this DIY. They are very simple and affordable materials that we're going to be using in this DIY. So let's get started, guys. So first I am going to unravel this laundry wire. What do they call it again? A washing line. So this is what the mirror looks like when I don't cover it. It's not pleasing when you're looking at the ring light, so I'll be covering it majority of this DIY. So what I did was I took the washing line and I wrapped it around the edges of the mirror, because I didn't have it in me to work out the radius of this mirror, which was 40 centimeters according to Mr. Price Home, but I didn't know how to measure it out, and this was a shortcut. So after I figured it out, I cut the washing line, but I made sure that the pieces do overlap a little, just so I can be able to attach them together to each other, obviously. So using some duct tape, I taped the wires together and try to keep it in a circle, but however, because this wire was coiled up for a while, it obviously doesn't maintain a circular shape. So what I did was I taped it down to my surface so I can start working with it. Got my raffia and I started to knot this raffia around the wire. So I went with the length of 20 centimeters. Obviously this is going to give me a length of 10 centimeters because I'm going to create is it a hex knot or what knot? Oh my gosh, guys, I use this knot in my bedroom makeover. I will link it down below and also have it up on the screen for you guys to see it. And that's basically the method I'm using to cover up this washing line. I will try to explain how to do it, but I don't think I'm going to be that great. So basically you fold the raffia into half and you put it right at the bottom of your washing line, and then you bring the ends of the raffia into the loop that's on top and you pull it through and you tighten it. That's as best as I can do, guys. If I don't make sense, please check my other video out because I actually show it very well there. What I do like about this raffia is that it is strong, and whenever I pulled and tugged, it did not break or anything like that. I didn't experience any of that. It was very easy to work with. So as soon as I figured out my length, to make it easier, I cut more to size, and I started working with each and every single portion of the raffia to make everything manageable. Honestly speaking, guys, this DIY took a long time. It is very tedious. It's not difficult at all, but it is very tedious, time consuming, and you just need to binge watch something while you DIY this. So anyways, hopefully this voiceover is going great for you guys because I haven't done this in a very long time. So yeah, I hope I get it right this time around. This is my third or fourth take of this voiceover, so yeah, bear with me. But anyways, tying up my last knot, you can obviously tighten the knots or move them around. I like the spacing the way it was. You can add more or add less, whichever way you want. This is what I like about DIYs. You can actually get to personalize each and every single thing to your liking. So what I did was I elevated the mirror and decided that I'm going to glue the frame onto the mirror so far before I work on it further, so that I make everything more manageable. So always try and make things more manageable for yourself while you're doing these DIYs and everything like that. Don't bite more than you can chew. Try and section your workload and how much you're going to deal with in a day. That's how I like to go into my DIYs. As much as I get super excited and I just simply want to get things done and see the end product, sometimes it's good to pace yourself. That way you can focus on each piece of the DIY. So what I did was I flipped the mirror so it can face up to glue the last bit of the frame. So as soon as I was done gluing the frame to the edges, I cut out another washing line wire, more longer than the initial one that's on the frame, just so I can space it out at least 2 centimeters away from the frame, just so I can add that bit of detailing that you saw on the Mr. Price home mirror, which is actually what we're using as an inspo. I tried to figure out how to glue this, so we're gonna take a bit of a break. So after taking a break and figuring out and brainstorming basically how to get this done, I figured I should put the wire at the bottom. So obviously you can see the mirror is still facing up, so we're going to glue this at the back. So what I did was I lifted each portion of the knots that I tied and I started gluing them down. I wanted them to stay within the groups of knots that they were already in. I didn't want it to just lay flat. I wanted to keep the detail that's there, which is the space from the frame of that, which is the space that touches the mirror all the way to where the second wire is that I'm gluing on. So I just needed that detail. I loved that. I love the separation. You can obviously choose whether you want it or you don't want the separation. So went right ahead and started gluing that down. So as soon as that was done, I realized that I didn't like the white wire peeping from the back of the mirror. So I decided to take a third piece of washing line wire and to wrap it up in raffia so that it has this nice clean finish to it. Because yes, this is a DIY, yes, we're doing this all by ourselves, but I still wanted to have a nice feel of, you know, I can't say professional looking or store-bought looking, because it does have that handmade feel, but I didn't want it to look too DIY like, as in that DIY kind of version that, you know, downgrades the look of the mirror or anything like that. I wanted it to still look like something that I bought. You understand? I hope I make sense. I'm making sense. So this is what I want to do. I'm just showing you guys real quick what I'm going for, and I wrapped the wire as much as I thought I would need, which was more than enough. I even had some left over, so always go overboard and rather not run out and have extra than to run out mid DIY. That's also another piece of advice I'd go for. And then I started hot gluing this onto the wire, that using the template on the guide of the wire at the back. So I'm just covering that up from the front side, obviously. So I try to put on a glove to avoid burning my hands. This did kind of help me, and honestly it helped avoid me getting a lot of hot glue onto my nails, although majority of it did also land on my nails, but it became a bit more manageable with the gloves. So you should invest in nice protection gear, not what I'm doing, but I was just improvising. So as soon as I was done, I let it overlap a little bit and I cut it to size, and then I hot glued that last bit to the mirror. And if you thought we were done, we're not yet done. I flipped the mirror backwards, back onto its front side facing the surface, and I started filling out the spaces where I felt that it needed either length or it was too patchy and it didn't have enough raffia. So I'm just filling out all the gaps, going around with the hot glue and sticking down all the remaining amount of raffia that I had on hand. And then I flipped the mirror back to facing up, because I realized that, you know what, it doesn't have a clean finish around the edges. You can see the hot glue seeping through. So I took my macrame cording and I just cut it to size, knotted it, and stuck it down so that I can easily braid it. I have braided macrame before on my channel. I will link that video up here and down below in the description box. And basically I went with a long enough braid for me to cover. Remember what I said, have more than less. So as soon as I was done, I cut off the knot and I started cleaning up the edges. Obviously this is my mirror facing up, but I'm just covering it with this foam just so you guys can see what I'm doing, so you guys don't have to stare at my ring light the entire time. Honestly, I feel like I also would have been bored if I stared at it the entire time. Sticking down the last bit of that macrame to the framing, I cut it, and honestly I wanted to go twice, but I thought no, let's go minimal, not too much. And this is what it kind of looks like. Yep, look at that ring light, isn't it annoying? So I trimmed down all the edges to size, made sure that everything was equal, and then I used these comment hooks. These are renter friendly. If your landlord doesn't want you to put holes in the wall, this is definitely your go-to product. In my case, I was lazy to actually drill holes or nail something into the planks and everything. I just wanted to simply stick it on and move on with life. Obviously, hanging my mirror, I realized that it was still moving at the bottom, so I decided to get comment strips and stick it right at the back of the mirror. This is a great hack to keep things in place, to ensure that everything doesn't move if a person passes by, especially in a high traffic area. And finishing off my DIY, I cleaned off the mirror. You get to see it now, obviously, in 3, 2, 1.
Alright guys, that was our mirror DIY. I am in love with this mirror, but however I'm gonna run through a couple of things before we cut it to the end and wrap up this video. I'm just going to simply share what I'll change about the mirror. So what I'll change is, I wish I went longer with the raffia. and instead of going shorter. With the Mr. Price Home mirror, the Raffia is a whole lot longer, hence why you can't even tell the size of the mirror is smaller. I wish I went longer so it's more of a statement piece. I feel like it's too small. I'm not sure, maybe I'll go in and lengthen it along the lines. Not now, I'm still traumatized from how labor intensive that was. And then what I love about the mirror is that I get to personalize it to my liking. That's the reason why I love DIYs. DIYs is a time for you to express yourself. It's a time for you to get what you want, but to your taste, to your custom taste. So in the store, you get it as is, but when you DIY something, you get to change the little bits that you feel like you would like on the item that will, you know, take it there where you say, you know what, I'm in love with this piece. So I totally love the fact that I was able to customize it to my liking. Like I said, with the Raffia, I could have went longer with the length, which is something that's also customizable. If you want it shorter or if you want it longer, you can adjust it. So let us get into the costs of this DIY. I'm just gonna simply attach how much it costs for what materials. Bear in mind that the majority of some of these things I already have on hand, but I figured the things that you would buy, they would run around this price. So this obviously makes a total of this mirror 185 rands if I'm rounding it up. And mind you, like I said, the Mr. Price Home mirror was around 300 rands for the smaller set. My mirror is bigger than the smaller set one that they had, which means I DIY'd the mirror that's actually running for 400 to 500 for just half the price basically. So with that being said, thanks for tuning into my video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, turn on the bell notification, and honestly, we're gonna go with the flow until we get to a point where I show you how I DIY this geometric wall behind me. Everything is gonna be on my channel, so you don't want to miss it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions regarding this DIY, or you want to, DIY it yourself, don't forget to tag me on my Instagram channel, which is creativehomeliv_ by Reni, or my personal account, which is Reni059. So with that being said, be kind, love, and light.